Just 2 years ago, this $10 billion sports complex in China was empty land, and across the Pacific this massive NFL stadium could get cancelled by Trump before a single brick is laid. Hey, I'm Lewis, and today we're looking at 6 of the world's most ambitious stadiums under construction, to see if they're gonna change the face of their city or become very expensive disasters. The new Al Ahly Stadium. New Al Ahly Stadium, which will be home to a team that's dominated African football for over a century, with 45 league titles, and more trophies than any club on the continent. But Al Ahly, Egypt's most successful team, has never had a stadium they could truly call home. So for 30 years, they've been borrowing stadiums and sharing grounds, which doesn't really match their status. The fans have waited long enough. So now, finally, they're building something for themselves. But there's a problem. The perfect location in Sheikh Zayed City sits directly under Cairo's Sphinx International Airport flight path, which means height restrictions are in place limiting how tall the stadium can be. So how do you create a 50,000-seat stadium when the sky is literally the limit? Well, instead of building up, they're building down. The pitch sits partially underground to stay within the strict height limits. And the earth surrounding it acts as natural insulation, helping to keep the playing surface cool. Rising from this is a structural arch that creates a really distinctive design. This supports the entire cablenet roof, creating a silhouette that's visible for kilometers. The building's outer walls are covered in giant screens to show whatever fits the occasion. Then there's the Owner's Plaza, a 30,000-person gathering space with cafes, shops, and the Al Ahly Museum. With almost $180 million on the line and a 2029 opening date, there is a lot of pressure to prove this ambitious underground approach actually works. Construction officially broke ground in February 2025, following a ceremony at Hatshepsut Temple. As of late 2025, the stadium is in its early construction phase while Al Ahly continues to play at borrowed venues. After 3 decades of planning, the club and its fans are finally watching this historic project take shape. New Trafford. And speaking of historic, let's look at New Trafford. This is the newly announced home for English football royalty. Despite not being that good for years now, Manchester United are one of the most famous sports teams in the world. And at the height of their powers, they were unstoppable. We're talking 13 league titles in 20 years and a level of success that gave Old Trafford legendary status. But then it all fell apart. Today, Old Trafford is literally crumbling. There are some pretty alarming videos of water pouring through the roof when it rains. The stadium that once hosted the World Cup and football at the Olympics wasn't even deemed good enough for the upcoming Euro 2028 tournament. In the last 19 years, there haven't been any major renovations at Old Trafford. And now the club is gambling big. They will still not fix anything because they're moving away from it completely. Though what will happen to the old stadium that means so much to its fans is anyone's guess right now. The replacement. A $2.6 billion, 100,000-seat colossus designed by Norman Foster that would be the largest in the UK, and the second largest in Europe. It'll have 3 towering masts reaching 200 meters high, visible from 40 kilometers away, and an umbrella roof covering a plaza twice the size of Trafalgar Square. It's being called a mini-city of the future, with commercial districts and entertainment venues all under that one massive canopy. And a project this big comes with serious economic promises. The club claims it could create 92,000 new jobs, pump more than $9 billion into the UK economy, and even deliver 17,000 new homes in the surrounding area as part of a bigger redevelopment. But here's the problem. Man United are already around $1.4 billion in debt. They just fired hundreds of employees this year to cut costs. And now they want to build the most expensive stadium in British history? Club executives insist they'll find a way to finance it. But the math doesn't exactly add up. With that level of debt and those construction costs, something's got to give. The club hasn't detailed how they'll cover the costs, though they're considering loans and private investment. But historically major stadium projects often lead to higher ticket prices. And there are some reports that fans could have to pay over $5,000 just for the right to buy a season ticket. It wouldn't be the first time that supporters have paid the price for ambitious plans like this one. What's certain is that this project is a big gamble for Manchester United. But you don't need to wait to visit the next stadium on the list, because Greater Bay Area Sports Center. The Greater Bay Area Sports Center has officially opened in China, hosting basketball, football, and diving competitions. It's situated here, along the Pearl River's western bank, right at the southern tip of Guangzhou's Nansha district. And how quickly it was built is just insane. Construction began in August 2023, and by August 2025, exactly 2 years later, athletes were already competing inside. So what did they build in that time? Before we take a look at that and 2 massive new stadiums being built in the US, I want to thank for sponsoring this video. This tool can be very important and I use it myself, so hear me out for a minute. You might not realize it, but there's this whole industry of data brokers and apps out there that are collecting everything about you, your email, phone number, contacts, address, and much more, and sell it to whoever wants it. And here's a crazy example. It was just revealed that state departments of motor vehicles have been selling licensed driver data to data brokers and private investigators. That includes names, home addresses, and even driving history. This isn't a one-off. US states made over $280 million from this in just 1 year. And if you have a driver's license, your information might be part of it. But luckily we have rights to get our names off of the websites that buy and sell this data. That's why I started using. I gave them permission to act on my behalf, and they went out filing all these removal requests, hundreds of them. I don't have the time or patience to do that myself. But now I can check this clean and pretty report every month and just watch my data disappear from these lists. There's a link in my description. When you click the link, it helps support the channel, and you also get a huge 20% off when you use code. Thanks for supporting us. And now, let's get back to China's new mega stadium. The centerpiece is a 60,000-seat stadium for football and major events. Its roof unfolds like a traditional Chinese fan. And while it's striking to look at, it also serves a practical purpose. The design helps to keep spectators cool with natural airflow from the South China Sea. Advanced 3D modeling was used to shape vertical slats that curve around the building, channeling those sea breezes inside. But the stadium is just one part of the complex. There's also a 20,000-seat arena for basketball and other indoor sports, plus a 4,000-seat aquatic center with Olympic-quality pools and diving platforms. The entire project was designed by Zaha Hadid Architects, the same firm behind some of the world's most recognizable modern buildings. The massive sports center will become the heart of a brand new neighborhood, complete with homes, shops, and offices. Along with the buildings, the site also has outdoor training fields, running tracks, and places for athletes to stay. Meaning the whole setup can handle anything from local school competitions to world-class professional sports. But how did it all get built so fast? Well, China is known for its prefabricated construction and has set some crazy records. Like building a 57-story skyscraper in just 19 days. And looking at how fast this complex went up, that approach probably played a big role here too. But while they're able to create iconic stadiums at lightning speed, Washington Commanders' new stadium. Over in Washington, NFL fans are facing a whole different challenge. This is the Washington Commanders' new stadium. And it's going to be the new home for a team that was once a major force in the league. Washington used to have one of the most feared home fields in the NFL. Fans were so loud that the stadium literally shook. Through the 80s and early 90s, they won 3 Super Bowls. Then in 1996, they left their spiritual home for a stadium in Maryland and everything fell apart. But this April, new owner Josh Harris made a commitment to bring them back to Washington with a $3.7 billion development. The plan includes 6,000 new homes, hotels, and restaurants spread across multiple districts. And the centerpiece is this 65,000-seat domed stadium with a translucent roof. It will sit on the exact site of the old RFK Stadium, where all those championship memories were made. At the moment, it's still not confirmed whether or not the roof will be retractable. And it's actually a pretty big decision because for NFL games, open air is preferable. But the city also wants to host the Super Bowl, along with other events like the Final Four and WrestleMania. A retractable roof is much more expensive. But the stadium is being built in a cold weather area. So being able to protect against the wind and rain is a big deal. There are a couple of issues, though. While their current Maryland stadium has 22,000 parking spaces, the new facility will only have 8,000, all in a garage. That's a pretty big shift for a fanbase known for tailgating those massive parking lot parties where fans grill food, drink, and socialize for hours before kickoff. And there's one more wrinkle. President Trump has threatened to block the entire deal unless the team changes its name back to the Redskins, which they dropped in 2020 for being offensive to Native Americans. Still, right now it's estimated that construction starts in 2026, with the stadium opening in 2030. New AS Roma Stadium. But over in Italy, a whole different kind of history is inspiring to the new AS Roma Stadium. They've tried to build this stadium multiple times, and they've not had a lot of luck. But now, it's finally looking promising for Roma fans. And while Washington battles politicians and Manchester dreams of futuristic spaceship-like designs, Rome is taking a completely different approach to the look of this stadium. Instead of chasing trends, they're going back to what made them famous. The design is very clearly inspired by the ancient Colosseum. And while most new stadiums are aiming for larger capacities, this one is actually a downgrade in size. So what's the deal? Well, for decades, Roma have shared the massive Stadio Olimpico with their bitter rivals, Lazio. The place seats more than 70,000 people, but it's too big for Roma's needs. Worse, there's an athletics track that puts fans too far from the action, and they can't control any commercial revenue. That's a big factor for a club that hasn't won the league since 2001. The most recent escape attempt was this one, and Goldman Sachs even arranged financing. But Italian bureaucracy killed it slowly, one permit at a time, until they gave up on the plan in 2021. Please like and subscribe channel.